You're listening to Your Worst Friend. Going deeper.
You're listening to Your Worst Friend with Shane and Matt. I'm Matt, and I'm joined today by my friend and co-host, Shane.
Hi.
We have a very special guest with us today. I was scared we were not going to be able to fit her in the schedule for this season, and I pushed one of the greatest publicists in the world, Erica, like, please, let's get this going. She was booked for a scene the last week when we were supposed to have her, and I was like, oh, shit, can we not get her on this season? And Erica was like, I'll just fucking bother her until she agrees to do this thing, and that was really nice of her. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by Miss Penny Barber.
Hello.
Hello, Penny. You can find Penny on Twitter and OnlyFans. Do you have is this a paid monthly OnlyFans, or is it like free and then pay-per-view?
Oh, it's not just paid. It's for OnlyFans. It's kind of expensive. It's like $15.
So here's what I'll say. Same thing we say every episode. Go pay for your fucking porn, people. Go pay for it, you know? If you're, go do it. Anyway, Twitter and OnlyFans, same name, Pampered Penny. Go check out her website, taboo.view.com, and her mainstream and indie projects, pennybarberfilms.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Penny Barber, thank you very much for being on with us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So, right off the bat, let's do the basic questions, get them out of the way, and introduce you to our audience. How did you initially get into the industry?
The tale as old as time. I was 18 and I needed money.
You needed money, sure.
I did. It was the Wild West. You know, I was.
McDonald's wasn't hiring. Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
I'm lucky I'm not dead.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Backpage and Craigslist, right? At the time were.
Yeah.
Thing of the past now, but we did speak to somebody once though who I think did have a run-in that almost ended in disaster. Was that a Craigslist story, Matt? Was that a person from Craigslist that they were going to meet?
No, we can recount that story, but I'd as much as I pushed you to make sure you did your plug, Shane, I just skipped over them. Go ahead, Shane.
I thought we were going to hit at the end.
Well, let me just do our plugs first. It's yourworstfriend.com, Worst Friend Cast on all social media. Check us out. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all of that. Shane, please go ahead.
Yeah. You can find my wife's OnlyFans at XX Goddamn. That's God with a GAH. You know, it's not God like the Christian one. And then go to Twitter, Kiki_Filipina_XO. But yeah, the idea, like, she's getting into the adult content market now. You know, we're in our 30s, but you said you did it at 18, and so Craigslist was an option, and that's the one you took.
Different time, yeah.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Was there ways that you I mean, okay, can I ask, who was your first shoot with? Was it, or maybe your first mainstream shoot, or did it take a while to get you to your first mainstream shoot?
It was just like GWCs and like, you know, I don't know what I was thinking.
You were thinking, I'm hungry and I need food.
I need a place to stay. Yeah.
Right.
I was, but I should have been more cautious. I would not encourage anyone to do what I did. And it was a different time, you know, like it wasn't quite so open as it is now. You know, you still had to, it wasn't just anyone was on the internet. I guess anyone could have been on the internet.
Well, there must have been less options too, huh?
Sorry?
There must have been far fewer options for getting this opportunity, at least because there was no OnlyFans when you were 18, was there?
No, I mean, I was involved in some very early crowdfunding type things, you know, sort of proto OnlyFans was, did you guys ever hear of myfreeimplants.com?
No. That sounds awesome. And I want to contribute to it. Sure.
It's gone away forever now. It's dead. But, you know, at like, that's how I funded my breasts. You know, I don't even know if we called it crowdfunding, but it was very, very early crowdfunding. You know, I got to be on Playboy TV and I was ever so excited. But yeah, I started shooting with companies up in San Francisco. I just didn't want to go to LA, which now I think was a big mistake. I think I should have gone to fucking LA. But yeah,
why,
my first.
well, why is that though? Is it because of the shoots in San Francisco were so poor, or because the ones in LA are so much better?
The ones in LA are, I mean, both. The
cool.
shoots in LA are better. The people who are really serious about their careers go to LA. You know, why wouldn't you? And so there's some stuff kind of still up here, but you know, ever since kink.com kind of, you know, it died and now it's kind of come back in this sort of zombie form. You know, but even a lot of kink stuff isn't really up here in San Francisco anymore. The culture has sort of died and it's coming back a bit. You know, I don't want to just think that it's gone forever, but you know, LA is just so much more professional in my experience. It's more beautiful. You know, when I go down there, I'll be working with these professional photographers with like 20 years of experience who create these gorgeous images and, you know, take their craft very seriously. They're not just shooting like what gets them off. They're shooting, you know, what looks good. And so I have a lot more work that I'm just prouder of, you know?
Sure. So, well, you referenced kink.com. Everything I've read on you, I always like to do a lot of background research. That's my excuse to my wife for watching all your videos.
I'm sorry. They're gross. I'm so sorry.
No, you got not a lot of it, not necessarily my thing, but I make no judgments on what people are into. Well, there's some exceptions. I make judgment. Yeah. There for sure is, and I'm going to ask you about that later. But you did so. Okay, that's interesting. Early on in the process, one of our first interviews was with somebody with kink.com. Very famous, very popular with kink right now. And I'm wondering what you meant by the zombie form. What has changed with kink.com from where it was to where it is now? So our interview was with Charlotte.
Charlotte Sartre or Charlotte? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she's one of, oh boy, well, I don't know what that looks.
She's a baby. I was like, you're talking about, from back in the day. I'm like, what is she like? 22?
Well, see, that's the thing. That is my recollection of kink.com is kind of Charlotte directing scenes there now and doing this and that. What was it like back when you started, and what is different between that and the zombified version that it is now?
Charlotte was not there.
Right, for sure.
I don't think she was an adult. You know, we were shooting with people like Lou Rubens and Shanta Rose and Peter himself. And, you know,
Sure.
You know, I know Matt Williams is coming back and he has some fun ideas, actually. Adore Matt, adore his wife, Dee. Very cool people. But that's so interesting because I think of Charlotte as being so new, you know?
For sure. Well, to be fair, again, kink.com wasn't one I was regularly going to personally. So that is my snapshot of it, having done that interview and talked to her and delved into more of these kinks and fetishes and everything like that. But are you just
your first interview with Charlotte?
No, first interview of this season.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yes.
I mean, that's quite a first.
No, you know, she's on my personal Mount Rushmore. She looks just like my wife, which I appreciate. There are many things, and we discussed that with Charlotte on the show. Hi. Yeah, exactly. My wife might like you more than me. So, she does that. Probably. But what I'm wondering is, again, from kink that you knew to now, are you just saying people have turned over since then, or have they toned themselves down or toned themselves up, or?
They've definitely toned themselves down a lot, which is not necessarily a problem. You know, one of the things that, so one of the stories from one of my earlier shoots there for, what is it called? Electro Sluts? Something like that.
That was a band I was in high school, but yeah. Yeah.
It was for their Electricity website. I can't recall the exact name. So
sure. They would like shock you and stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, the shocks really, really hurt. And, you know, in the middle of it.
It's electricity.
It's a lot of electricity.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But in the middle of shooting, one of the things broke. And they're like, oh, well, we're just going to keep going. Just act like it hurts. And I was like, we could have done that the whole freaking time.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Because it was really painful. And, you know, I am a masochist. I like pain to a degree. But so it was kind of like the worst parts of like, you know, of the scene. And then you couldn't really get into subspace and sort of eroticize the pain because, you know, you're stopping every 2 minutes. And, you know, you're not really doing a scene at that point. So they've definitely toned themselves down, which in some ways I'm like, okay, it's a movie. You don't need to. It's a movie, whatever.
Right.
So that doesn't actually bother me. I know the really hardcore people are like, oh, it's all fake now. And I'm like, it's a film,
Sure.
If you can do things like, and one of the little tricks they would do to sort of tone down the cattle prod is instead of just putting all the batteries in it, they'd take like a little section of a dowel and like wrap it in aluminum foil. I've never done this myself, but that's what I was told. And then they'd use that and put that in there. So there was like less voltage going into you.
Cool.
And so, I'm all for them doing stuff like that. How has it changed in the zombie way? It's less glamorous, to be blunt. They used to be at all the awards shows and, spending all this money. And I guess they kind of realized, well, we don't have to do that. It doesn't make sales, which is true.
Okay.
But there is, a part of me that likes to be very appreciated for my work. And these big, pageants, basically, of porn are part of that. And I felt like I kind of missed out on it. And I'm kind of like coming back into the scene now. And yeah, kink is not the same as it used to be. I don't think that people would feel the same way about walking around in a kink.com sweatshirt. Like I'd rather wear a deeper sweatshirt at this point in time.
I read a book on the early days of HBO, and HBO for many years was losing money by dumping so much into it, but it was always about they never based their success on subscribers as much as they did the award shows, because the subscribers will come with the high-end, high-quality content. So there were a lot of times early on and around The Sopranos time and stuff like that at HBO when it was like, hey, we could cut this and make this cheaper. And they go, well, is that going to cost us an award? Well, maybe it'll give us less of a chance. No, put the money into it, spend it.
Yeah.
And I'm not even necessarily saying it's the money issue, but it could be in a sense,
It's making the good product, though.
But also, I wonder in today's society if maybe they're also, and maybe I'm wrong, I have no insight into this, more worried about scrutiny. Which again, we understand this is consulting adults. You are a masochist. You would enjoy the things they are doing to you. Maybe they didn't need to hit you with all that electricity, but at the same time, it does give a good billboard for someone somewhere to go, look at this abusing women. Oh my God, it's terrible. This is what the porn industry does,
I'm surprised it hasn't happened already, just because of, like you say, you want to appease people in advance, right? And there's already so much oversight in regular films about safety and protocol. Like look at a movie like The Raid. It's a martial arts film.
I know what The Raid is.
Oh, okay, cool. So
I
like,
that movie.
Yeah.
Those dudes beat the shit out of each other in that movie.
Well,
And
they're
there's
fighters, first, and actors kind of second.
sure, but a lot of those stunts would never have been allowed on an American set. There's physical
Really?
contact happening. Yeah. Like
I didn't know that.
there's definitely ways you could do them in American movies, but they wouldn't have looked as realistic as they did in that Indonesian movie. I'm almost certain that the guy who made the movie, he's either a Canadian or an American. I think he went there to make it specifically to get around like film restrictions. So my point is, I'm just shocked there hasn't been some sort of massive oversight in the adult film industry too. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that. I know that there's certain things you legally can't show, or sell as adult content, but like you can't hit your actors on a film set. Like you can't. You can't.
Right.
You can't tell Brad Pitt to punch Leo for real. But in adult films, you can do things that you couldn't do with regular films,
which we're not advocating for, by the way.
Sure.
I don't.
Not at all.
No.
Yeah, we're
not at
not
all.
saying Brad Pitt should punch anybody.
Oh no, I'm okay with that. I'm saying I don't want as much regulation in porn. I want safety. I think that's fine, but
I like safety, but
regulation. Hey, look, if Penny wants to get the shit beat out of her with a caning thing, let her do it. I'm okay with that.
There are legal concerns, like you can't consent to assault. Like you just can't.
Sure.
Legally.
What is the definition of assault, though?
Oh, I know. Now you're sounding like a lawyer. So there are certain things that you can and can't do. It's mostly determined right now by the credit card companies, which is terrifying. That a private company, which is basically New World Cash, you know,
Sure.
Is making these determinations. It's kind of scary. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know how I feel about it, because I do think that you can go too far, and you do have girls who will come on set and be like, oh, well, I felt like I had to do it to get paid. And they're kind of right. Cause I'm like, that's the shoot, you know, like,
Right.
And we've all heard horror stories.
Sure.
I don't have any yet. Thank God.
Thank God.
Well, I mean, a big part of it too in avoiding the horror story, shouldn't it be like, you know that the only way to get paid is to do the shoot, but you should know exactly what you're getting into before you show up on set, right? Like that should all be laid out for you. So
you do and you don't. Most of the negotiation takes place like immediately before you shoot, and it kind of depends. Wow. It kind of depends. Like I just did a shoot for Adult Time where they just really made sure, they're like, "Are you okay with pee?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. You know, you can pee all over me. You know, I'll brush my teeth with it. I don't care. Yeah, sure." And then
all the right things for me.
And then I got there, and they're like, "Okay, we're going to do the thing now." And they had the girl turn around, and they handed her a douche with water in it. And they're like, "Okay, squeeze this in." And I was like, they went over it so much. And I was like, "Oh, I thought she was going to pee." And she was like, "Well, she doesn't have to. You know, we can just do it this way." And I was like, "All right, then." You know, like,
that.
Okay. You know, because I didn't mind. I was like into it. You know, just a cute girl, but.
My that's always been my scrutiny about the adult industry, is from doing these interviews and hearing I mean, we've talked to some of the biggest names and this and that, is I've never understood why. And maybe it's a both sides thing. Maybe it's sometimes the performers are unreliable and sometimes the studios are. But I've seen stories of, this girl getting on the plane, flying somewhere, you guys paying your travel up front. Some of you. Now, again, maybe that depends on level, I assume.
Right.
Paying travel up front, getting there, booking your own hotel, being told you'll pay all of, you'll be, what is the term I'm looking for?
Reimbursed.
Reimbursed. I want to say redeemed. Reimbursed for all of that. And then scenes canceled. Never mind. We don't pay a kill fee. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but you're fucked. You're out of luck. To me, if I'm a girl, and trust me, I wouldn't make a pretty one. I would definitely have to do BBW fetish.
You'd look better.
Anyway, thanks, sweetie.
I like big girls.
Yeah, well, not this big. Anyway, I would want this. I would want personally, and again, you tell me if this is ridiculous, and if I had a track record of always showing up, I don't cancel, right? Put in a contract. You're going to cover this. You're going to cover this. Not cover it. You're going to buy my plane ticket. You're going to send me my reservation for the hotel time. And I want a detailed itinerary of everything we will do on set that day. We're doing double anal. We're doing facial at the end. We're doing this,
Hell
that.
Yeah.
Hey, you don't have to make grimaces. It's what I like as a pretty beautiful big woman. Anyway,
you're pretty demanding, man. I just want someone to come to my house and fuck me in the ass.
Is it ridiculous to say maybe we could have a little more back and forth in terms of responsibility from the people? And this obviously falls more on the content creators themselves, like the mainstream studios. Hey, this is all laid out. This is taken care of for you. If you don't show up, we'll probably not work with you again. And fuck it, we might sue you. Who knows? Maybe nothing will come out of it, but we might sue you. So make sure you show up on time. You get on the plane, you get in their hotel, and you're ready to shoot.
It is a risk, like I produce content and I also appear in content. So, I mean, yeah, you never know if an actor is going to follow through. But I think that one of the ways to make sure that they are going to follow through is to have a really great working environment and to treat them well. I do think that it creates, a sense of obligation for some people. And I don't know. On the one hand, I feel like, well, that's the cost of doing business. If like one girl in 50 doesn't show up to her call time, or, the boys too. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I always like default because I am a lady.
Sure. Me too.
But like if someone, doesn't show up, well, that's the cost of doing business. I've been out and flown out places and I don't pay for my own flights. But I've flown out places and something happens and we can't shoot. And, thank God for OnlyFans, because otherwise, I've wasted that day. That money's not coming back.
Sure.
I've got to do something. I don't have a lot of the things that people who have, straight jobs have. I don't have like 401k matching. I have to pay for my own health insurance.
You don't have PTO, personal time off, right? Where you get paid for those days off, right?
No.
You're an independent contractor, essentially.
Yes.
So
yeah, it's nice if you can get people to pay for it. I've started being a little more proactive, let's say, in asking who else is going to be on set. Like I used to just kind of get booked, and now I'm like, well, what about this guy? What about that guy? What about this girl? Just because on the one hand, I want to work with people I like, but on the other hand, I also understand that the company that's booking me isn't going to want to book me with like the same 5 people over and over and over again.
Right.
So it's
70% the same scene at that point. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Right.
How would you vet somebody new that you'd be working with? Or would you not vet them? Or is it a gut feeling when you meet them, or,
So normally, yeah, I'll look at their social media and stuff, and, people talk.
Sure.
I might have heard something. Oh God, I just had it's not really quite a horror story, but I did just have my first scene where the guy just wasn't listening to me, and it was utterly bizarre. It never happened to me. I've been doing this for like 20 years. It had never happened to me before.
And you behind or in front of the camera for this?
In front.
Okay.
Can you imagine if you're going down on a woman and she says, "Can you do this instead of that?" and you just said no?
Wow.
I didn't know man could do that. I was like, is he allowed? What?
Yeah, I didn't think that was allowed. Now, this is on set filming, and you're the performer.
Yeah, I was performing, and I was just like, "Can you?" He kept licking my urethra, and I was not loving that as much as I like a UTI. I was like, "Could you lick my clit instead?" Like it's I tried to make it all cute, like, "Oh, it's right here," and tried to be sexy about it because I don't want him to like lose his erection or anything. And I like to have my. I don't know if we're allowed to say clit here, but I also just said
you could say whatever the fuck you
say whatever you want. Yeah.
Totally fine.
Lovely.
Yeah. The internet's the Wild West still, so go ahead.
Well, I prefer to have my clitoris licked than my urethra.
Sure.
As you do, yeah. And what was his response? Did he just flat out say no?
He said no.
No, I'd rather lick your pee hole.
Yeah. And it was over and over again, like the whole scene. Like he wasn't kissing me. Like he kept licking my chin.
Okay, that's just weird.
Fuck?
That's like
I didn't think it was sexy. And so I like held his face and like started, kissing his mouth.
Sure.
Crazy idea.
Yeah, imagine that.
And so he's like, "No, I really like you, so I want to do this." And then went back to licking my chin, and I was just like, okay, And the director kept pulling me aside. He's like, "Are you okay?" And I was, I was fine,
Yeah, you didn't feel you were in danger.
Was he losing his virginity to you?
Yeah, was that the scene? Wait. Were you not understanding the concept of the scene? He was an 18-year-old boy. He was playing in this, and he just had left Mormon camp, and this was the first time. No,
he just left gay conversion camp. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
Wait,
I wish.
Or can I say this? We've told. Well, it's not going to be sexy. You don't have to do that. But is it that however he was licking your urethra was potentially more aesthetically pleasing to camera? Because we've heard plenty of times that porn
doesn't
fucking,
excuse the chin licking.
No, that's like,
yeah,
that's
disgraceful.
I went through 6 different things that were all too offensive to say about somebody licking a chin, but let's put it, not the smartest person in the world. I'll just put it that way.
That was a thought I had. I didn't say anything.
Yeah, not all the chromosomes in order. I understand. But how was his dick, though? Let's be honest. Was it okay?
Does it matter at this point?
Yeah, let's put it. I mean,
yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter. But he ruined himself. He was a pretty guy, but he ruined himself, and I was just like, okay, he didn't seem to like female pleasure. He didn't seem to know how to eat pussy. I mean, and you know what? Let's say that whatever. I'm just going to say it. No, I don't think it was more aesthetically pleasing. Do you prefer to watch men licking urethras than clitoris?
Dude, I don't know where the
thing?
clit is. Okay, I've thought it was a myth all of my life, so I can't tell you what I think of that. But
and that's the wrong question to ask a guy with a pee fetish.
Yeah, no. Shane has, so okay. All right. Now, here's the thing. I'm not asking you to identify the person, obviously, or the site, obviously. But have you seen the final product yet, or is it not out yet?
No, it's not. It isn't out yet.
Okay,
And
I will be checking for that, by the way.
Good.
I'm going to be checking the index.com every time you put out a new scene. Okay,
is it this guy? Is it this guy? Yeah. No. But what I was trying to say about it is, it wasn't a great day on set for me, right? But the director kept being like, "Are you okay?" And 2 different crew members came over to me and they're like, it looks kind of rough out there. Like, do you want to say something to the director? And, I could have ended the scene, or I could have just been like, well, I guess my chin is getting licked a lot today. And, just kind of suck it up, get paid and go home. Because if I call the scene, no, I don't get paid. And honestly, I don't I kind of get it, as a business owner, it's very tempting to not waste the, 10, 20, however many thousands of dollars they've spent on everything else for the shoot. Just because, some model is being fussy about getting her chin licked. So
Sure. Yeah. And it's you can always make the same comparison to regular film, right? Like if you have a bad actor on set, are you going to cancel production just because he is the standout bad portion of the scene? It's like, if you got to get the scene done, you got to get it done. Everybody's here. I guess this scene is going to have one bad performance, but let's try and focus on the whole. And that's the whole.
That was the problem. He was focusing on the whole.
The wrong hole. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But that shows your professionalism. That
I
you're
hope so.
Yeah, that you're cognizant of performers, and I'm sure that will go a long way in booking you more and more scenes and less for Mr. Chin Wetter.
That's his name now in my mind. Thank you.
Is the goal in your mind to get to the point where you don't necessarily have to shoot for other sites?
I love shooting for other sites, actually. I love it. I love getting to talk to the DPs. I love getting to talk to the photographers. I love getting to see all the gear and stuff that they have. God, I was just on set and this guy was telling me about he started using the EL zone to set his exposure. And I was just like, oh, that's so cool. I love it so much.
It's the best. Now, are you a Nikon or a Canon girl?
I like Canon.
Oh, that's fine. I don't know. I like Canon as well. Shane just purchased his first Canon, so we're a Canon family here, folks. This is a question I just came up with today, and I've never asked this on the show. Do you ever suffer from imposter syndrome? Do you know what that is first?
I do know what that is. Thank you.
I'm just, hey.
She doesn't need you to mansplain it, you doofhead.
I was lady-splaining it. That's when you explain it to a lady.
A lady?
Yeah, as a lady, yes. I'm playing with gender in my own head. I have no idea what's going on.
You're figuring it out still, yeah.
Do you ever suffer from... Yeah, I suffer from imposter syndrome.
Do I get imposter syndrome? No. I'm sorry. Whenever it's kind of the opposite. Whenever I'm having a really rough day, I'm married and my husband will just get me home and be like, "You are Penny fucking Barber." And I'll be like, "I am Penny fucking Barber." That's cool. Right.
Nice.
So,
I think that's, I think that's how it should be. I think that's a good sign of confidence, Then
I worked hard.
Sure,
I deserve what I have and more.
I wonder, and I guess we'll determine this by more of these interviews that we do, if that separates people from full-on content creators like you who have almost built your own business on top of the work you did, if that differentiates between someone who's just strictly in front of the camera and or strictly has reached a level of celebrity. Maybe not. I don't know. I have no idea.
I have no idea. Yeah. I'd be interested to hear, I know it's not like you're going to do a formal study, but it would be interesting to see some statistics, hear some people talk about things, even just, their own experience.
Sure.
Do you get imposter syndrome?
Every fucking day. We had a cancellation before this
Ooh.
Another one of Erica's clients, car trouble, not her fault.
Oh, that's a bummer.
But literally I was at Exotica with my wife last year and I saw this same performer and I said, oh, she's too big. We'll never be able to talk to her. Like, we'll never be able to get her on the show. And then I almost had her on the show. You know, in our first season, we got Sara Jay, you know.
Oh, damn.
So that's, you know, and now she does a lot of podcasts I learned later on. But at the same time, yeah, I've worked hard. I've put this together. I've been able to, sure. And at the same time, I finish these interviews and I go, why the fuck would anyone want to talk to me ever? So yeah, I suffer.
Erica told us to.
yeah. Because somehow I roped Erica into this. No, yes, I definitely, I suffer from that. And that's okay because imposter syndrome only really matters if you pull yourself back and bury yourself after that. As long as you keep continuing moving forward, your work will show and it'll prove itself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't suffer from imposter syndrome.
I know, you're the fucking best. It's great. All you have to do is give him nothing to do and then he'll fucking crush that. It's so good.
Well, dude, y'all, you get caught up in your whole identity. I'm a podcaster and this is what I am. And I am my work and it represents me. It's like, dude, you don't fucking exist. Your life is an illusion. And so is yourself and your consciousness and all that bullshit. Just fucking die already, Matt.
This escalated. This went off the rails.
Yeah, that's about every episode, if we're being honest.
It's what how we made our name. That's how we got Erica's attention.
Yeah. Here's another general question. No, it is a general question, but it's porn related. Over the last 10 years, and actually it seems like this is a fetish you have participated in and you're very interested in, but
I'm sorry.
Let's get your take.
I'm so sorry.
In the last 10 years or so, incest has made a big push as the fetish of the decade.
Oh, that's not what I thought you were going to say. Yeah, that's mainstream.
No, well, now I need to know what it is. Which one? What is it?
I'm not, if you know, great. But if you don't know, you don't want to know. Oh, okay. No, on set, like I always apologize to people because we'll get there and people are like, this is gross. We have to do more of this taboo stuff. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm the reason. I love this stuff.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
If like I could force like every dude on earth to like call me mommy once, that would be great.
I just learned how hot that is. Yeah. It's really appealing.
Let's come back to that, but I want to finish this question. What's a trend, a kink, or a fetish that you'd like to see take over for the next decade? Maybe that's the answer.
Sorry, I didn't actually realize this until you brought it up. You know what kind of porn I'd like to see more of? I really like. I'm getting into it more. It's not even. It's okay. Like when I say it, you're gonna think like the really gross, like grocery store ones, but I don't mean that. I mean like the really nice designer, like high quality, very like soft, beautiful pantyhose.
What about them coming on pantyhose, fucking through pantyhose?
I just really
wearing pantyhose.
I do like to wear them. Mm-hmm. I like to see them, you know, because I like feet a lot too, and legs, and like, you know, like just a, you know how like yoga pants like just like make a girl's ass look perfect.
Sure,
shapely.
Yeah, but so it's like they're like yoga pants, but you can see through them.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Okay,
you know, and like just like a foot, like a really feminine foot with like red toenails, like going into like.
Okay.
Really sheer black pantyhose, like, oh. Whew.
See, I was thinking of like the skin colored ones with like the padding that's in them, and I'm like,
oh, my grandma.
That's what people think, yeah. And I'm like, no, not like those, like the nice Wolfords or like the $30 like Falk pantyhose, you know, like the really sexy ones, sheer to waist. Yeah.
Now going back, the mommying fetish, if we can touch on that for a second.
The wet fetish, what was that?
What is it? No, I said the mommying one. What's the wet one?
With the wet one. Hold on, my screen just like decided to stop being a screen. Can you still hear me?
Yep, and she's gone.
Oh, she's
pause this
dead.
Recording. I'm gonna pause it, Shane.
Okay.
All right, sorry, technical glitch there. We were talking about the mommying fetish, which you are a fan of, I assume?
I am a big fan, yes.
Now, does that extend to like diapering and stuff like that.
So, okay.
If you could explain it, sure. Yeah.
It's okay to make fun of it as far as I'm concerned. Let me explain what I do like about it. So the ABDL thing, it's a couple of things. First of all, if you look at most of my partners, they don't really look young. Like I like guys with full beards, I like really busty women. And part of it is an embarrassment thing. Like I like to see them doing something like that they shouldn't really be doing. For a while, my husband got a big bag of these like little dum-dum suckers. Sure. Yeah. And after dinner, he'd just like come sit on the couch and he would just have one. And I couldn't stop staring at him. It was so filthy. I was like, you're not allowed to eat those just in the house, just walking around. But it was a lot of fun to watch. As for the thing, so I'm a plastic fetishist. I like rubber and I like latex and stuff too. But yeah, I like the kind of plastic casing. I like pee-pee.
Sure.
If you haven't done this yet, I highly suggest it. But if you get stoned and you kind of like lie back and you have your partner use like a really, really soft makeup brush to just like rub baby powder into your cock, it feels fucking amazing. And you should do it for your partner too. Like have her just lie down, open her up and just like take a brush, little baby powder and just brush it over her clit and her labia. It feels really fucking good.
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was a teenager.
Oh, well, there you go. So yes, I like it. It combines a lot of separate little elements that I like. And I mean, like, I know it's weird and I understand if it makes people uncomfortable. I don't like shove it in people's faces. Every serious partner that I've had has started off being like, oh, that's fucking weird. That's gross. And then eventually they're like, I want to try it. And they always like it,
And is it just suckers though?
No, it's the whole experience, right? Isn't it?
I mean, it could just
we haven't
be watching him play video games. I mean, like it can be anything really. And like there's sort of like a gimpy. It depends. It comes in a lot of different flavors.
So is it like anything infantilizing? Anything that makes them seem young and I don't want to say vulnerable, but like like innocent or naive, maybe, or kind of like.
No, it's not. It's not about them being innocent or naive. It's about the.
Because I'm really interested.
My husband is like a huge guy, right? He's very big. He's got a gigantic beard. He's muscular. He works out. And so just seeing him do, and it doesn't have to be an ABDL thing. Like he genuinely does not want to wear panties. He fucking hates it. I've gotten him to do it twice, and it was pretty great. Because he looked like he didn't like it. He looked upset, and it made him look more masculine for some reason.
Okay. So the frustration brings out the masculinity. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's not that they seem innocent. It's that they're kind of like a little bit angry. Like they don't want to be doing it.
Okay.
Like they're genuinely humiliated by the situation because then it's a power thing. So I'm like, oh, yeah, you guys just I like to see him in bondage. I like to just make him capitulate in any way that I can, really. And I like to do that too. And when we first started, dating, he just did not understand. He was like, how come you like to do things that you genuinely don't want to do? And I was like, I can't explain it. I don't know. It just makes me feel like powerless, but not like, powerless, like not like damselly. It makes me feel like, oh, you motherfucker, just like this kind of like aggressive, like
really? Okay.
Yeah, because I'm
powerless and
okay.
Yeah. It's almost like you're powerless to a situation, and not to like an act or a person, It's like you're being vulnerable, but it's to like this thing that you're attracted to. It's like this and also like I think his aggression that really hit on it for me was like you like seeing him get mad about the humiliating thing, whatever it is. So it's like that to me. It's like you're bringing out like the animal in him, like the thing he can't control.
this one time I had him tied up. Actually, he was in rope bondage, and I had his cock tied up too, and I had a rope coming off of it, and I was like, teasing him like, "Oh, you can't fuck me, can you? No, you can't. You're all tied up." And I was like teasing my clitoris, like masturbating with the rope basically, and he was just like so frustrated. And I could do a quick release tie. And so just when he was like really just like on the brink, I pulled the quick release out and he was free and he just fucked the shit out of me. And it was great, So yeah, that kind of like just like, oh, of him
That
being
rules.
like, I'm gonna wear this thing for you. It's really embarrassing. I really don't want to wear it. If you tell anybody, I'll deny it. But yeah, I like it. It's a power thing. It's a power thing.
I wonder if it's the same reason, like I'll put on a really awful YouTube video or a kid's video. We don't have kids, and I'll make my wife just watch it. It's not a sexual thing. I like to watch her annoyed. It's really fun. Like her, like, what the fuck are we doing? What is this? What are we watching?
Why are you wasting my time?
I'll be like,
I think
what?
that's adjacent. Not the same, but I get it.
We're childless and 30 years old. Why can't we put on Caillou? What's the problem with that? You don't like watching this, kid? Just do it. And I think it's funny. I understand that. What is is the term? Okay, see, I thought you were more leaning towards, and it sounds like there's kind of a mishmash of
overlap.
Yeah, well, no, I wouldn't say an overlap. I would say a mishmash of different things you kind of threw out there. Like, I don't see how him wanting to eat the lollipops is necessarily the way,
But he doesn't like me looking at him weird when he does it.
Okay, fair enough. I was going to the term baby heading I have heard before. And
I haven't heard. What's that?
That is when you literally you're the mommy and your husband there.
Baby.
You diaper him. You
feed him baby
possibly
food.
Well, yeah,
Nurse him.
You nurse him. That's what I was going for. That's a term. Well, yeah. Let me let me
Spank him when he's out of line.
Baby heading is
Teach him to walk.
Boy. Okay, that's going too far. It's an expression I've heard before.
I've never heard it. Oh no!
But
people are gonna know.
It is. It is the full. This person is a baby experience. Maybe they, you put them in a giant crib or something like that.
Do they shit the diapers?
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not.
In the world, do.
Oh yeah, but Oh, okay. Well, then I guess you answered the question then. Thank you.
I don't know what the question was.
The question was, is that part of the fetish with this baby?
Well, not for her, but yes, baby heading is they piss the diaper and the mother changes them and this and that.
What a fucking mess.
So
See how you look so pissed right now? Like,
she likes that.
That's kind of it. That's kind of what I'm going for. I'm like, yeah, you don't like that, do you? Is that gross?
So then she would. So then if you two were in a relate, she would demand that. Because she knows how you get around that.
Oh man, so you can't ever let her know your weakness because she'll use it against you.
Yeah. I'm happy go
to
lucky
get her off. Yeah.
And plus, people don't understand how annoying I can be. So if you think you can annoy me into getting frustrated, we're watching Caillou all night, sweetheart. That's just what we're doing. I'm talking to my wife here.
Okay. I was like, I feel like if you and I were alone together, one of us might die. I don't know.
Yeah, me. It's not even close. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to touch on your thing, but we're running out of time here. Shane, we mentioned Shane's wife is a content creator. You wrote an article for XBiz magazine about advanced tips for making cinematic POV content.
I just called it tips for making POV content. They added that little advanced in there, which was a little bit of an ego stroke, but I just want to be clear that I didn't call it that.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, well, when they give you credit, you don't necessarily have to wave it away. I mean, these are advanced tips. How important? So I'm going to assume you don't like the type of content that I like. I really like professional content shot that kind of looks like dog shit. So
what does that mean?
Not actual dog shit. I will tell you, my favorite site going right now is I'm gonna give them a little plug. Maybe I can stop paying for it. Have you ever seen gloryholeswallow.com?
What the fuck? Is that what's going on in the background of this whole thing there?
Okay. No.
Oh, you
Maybe.
see the way she reacted right there, just pure disgust and confusion.
Yeah.
That's what does it for me right there.
No, it is just basically it's a guy going out to a glory hole shooting it, but you can hear other videos going on in the background. It's like a guy with a high quality 4K camera and a light. But then, they may be the guys in the shoot may be part of the scene, may not be may be part of the industry, may not be. It has a very real feel to it. And it is not the prettiest cinematography.
Very amateur feel.
It is not the pretty.
Amateur is an aesthetic. Amateur's not it isn't a skill level. It's an aesthetic. That's what I think is important.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. I like high resolution, not necessarily the highest lighting and the best. Shoot something in 4K. Let me see all the dimples. But at the same time, I don't need a beautiful set and stuff like that. It seems like from your article here, do you
notice I lit candles for you?
Yes,
I thought they were electric.
No.
So it seems like you prefer a pretty shoot, right?
I do. Vixen is my go-to.
Okay.
I mean, they don't do like a lot of the weird stuff that I like, but yes, I like high production values. I when I say I'm a fetishist, I mean I am a fetishist. Sure. I like things in their perfect form.
You want to bask in it.
Sure.
You want to bask in it.
I do. I feel like it's easy to make things pretty nowadays, so I don't know why people don't do it. But
because sometimes. So it sounds like you're more of like a Kill Bill girl than a Grindhouse girl.
I like both. But
there is a definite aesthetic difference between the two.
No, so Pulp Fiction, the cinematography in Pulp Fiction, it's not the best, to be honest, but it works for that story. Okay? So, and as opposed to like the cinematography in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's really sharp and slick because it's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's about filmmakers and all this stuff.
Sure.
Whereas in Pulp Fiction, it's pulpy, so it's not like I said, amateur is an aesthetic. So if there's a good reason for it, if the filmmaking supports the storyline, oh my God, I'm so pretentious. I'm so sorry.
So then amateur girls at a glory hole, hello, it's gonna seem more aesthetically pleasing to have it a little more amateur looking.
It could be, but I would still want things like a pickup shots, and I want to like see what she's thinking, and I want like rudimentary character development and everything.
Character.
I like it.
Dick. You got to know her motivation for sucking the dick, dude.
The money at the end.
I want to know what brought her here.
Yeah, the money at the end is for the star who is not part of this amateur world we're building. This world we're building. Yeah. The girl's sucking this dick in this booth. Like,
but why?
Right, exactly. What is she doing there? But she's not there for a check.
But sometimes you might not. Sometimes you might not want to know why she's in there doing
it might be worse than to know, actually.
Not the reality why that actual person is there, but the story of like, oh, well, she she just graduated college and she's like experimenting, or like she broke up with her boyfriend and she's trying to get back at him or something like that.
That's a good one. I like that one.
See, now you're making assisted reality TV. You're doing the Kardashian show. Me, I'm Real World season.
No, I'm not even doing assisted. I'm just doing like flat out cinema. Oh my God.
She's talking about making a film.
I want, and I don't care if it's like looks amateurish, but I don't want reality. Reality sucks. Have you been here? Have you been to reality?
No, not in years. No, I haven't.
The service has gone down in quality.
Yeah. We are going to wrap this up. Shane, do you have any additional questions for me? Oh, so anyway, you wrote this great article about shooting things properly. People should definitely check that out. I'll put a link to that in the episode description. Shane, any final questions here for Penny?
No, she answered my favorite one. I'm glad she's a pee fetishist.
Sure. Yeah.
I am. You are too, right? I can't tell if you're joking. But...
No, yeah, totally. I ask every person on the show, and I always get mixed responses. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are annoyed that I asked.
Can I tell you one more like quick little story?
Of course you can. You can tell us anything you want.
So there's one porn guy that I really liked, and I fucked him off camera. And I thought, it's going to get weird. And, he'd had a long day, granted. So he just kind of like, came over, fucked me. He shot twice, which was fun, but it was pretty much the same kind of sex we'd have on camera. And then after we were done, he just went into the bathroom and just peed in the toilet. And I was just like, why would you do that?
Oh yeah. Why not on me? Yeah.
I'm right here. Like I'm naked. What are you doing? So
can I ask you, is that
wasted.
real quick? Is that wasted? No. Is that just a taboo? Is that the same thing where it's like, this is an uncommon thing, it turns me on? What turns you on about piss then?
I like the warmth.
All right, I'm not asking you. I'm asking the pretty lady on the camera here. I understand what you
like
that
it's warm.
Okay.
When a guy does it inside of you, it just feels like he's just like coming, like just like so much, and that's kind of fun. It's just like because you can't come that much, you die.
Yeah, we've all been to the we've all been to the drunk tank on a Friday. Yeah, I understand. You have to stay over the weekend if you get arrested on a Friday, generally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was implying that men had sex with me in a drunk tank.
Ejaculated in him.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Miss Penny Barber on Twitter and OnlyFans. Make sure you pay for your porn at PamperedPenny and let those peas pop. TabooView.com. And if you want to check out some of her independent stuff that she told me I don't necessarily have to plug, but I still think you should send some clicks her way. PennyBarberFilms.com. Check the episode description for all the other stuff we talked about today. And yeah, thank you very much for coming on with us, Penny.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
For your worst friend, I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
See you next week.
Thanks for listening to Your Worst Friend. Going deeper.